Yo, Polnareff is the GOAT, but why do people always say that he smells like cheese? Like, I know, he's a really good character, but people usually just say that he's not that strong, or, he's just a second Jotaro, or, he sucks. But what if I told you that Polnareff was actually strong? Hell, what if I told you in comparison to other parts, Polnareff is actually a top tier beast? Yeah, that's right. In today's video, we will be discussing the power and potency of Polnareff and Silver Chariot. Now for this video, I'll just firstly cover his hacks, and then his speed, and then his AP. For hacks, it's pretty simple. Polnareff has a stand, which is basically a ghost, or one spirit/soul being manifested in a physical form. This gives him the ability to phase through things or even opponents, which is basically Dura negation. He's mainly known for his skill with his stand and how strong he is with his sword. And this weapon isn't limited, as Polnareff can also throw his weapon like it's a lance. Now we can get into the good stuff, aka his speed. Now Polnareff pressed early Star Platinum when being possessed by Anubis, and is the fastest stand he encountered by this point. He should also be the strongest, since eventually Polnareff overwhelmed Star Platinum and Jotaro would have to break the sword, increasing Polnareff's strength. And what's crazy is Polnareff gets even faster once after Avdol's death and again after Iggy's death, where he goes from struggling with Vanilla Ice to blitzing the ever-living shit out of him. Now, to put into retrospect how fast Polnareff actually is, he's able to react to the sun stand, which actually emits beams of light. This was calculated at 300 times the speed of light. However, this is just kind of child's play for the GOAT Polnareff, as earlier on in the series, he perceives light as if it were moving in slow motion, which was calculated to be at over 1,000 times the speed of light, and this was during his encounter with Hanged Man. People like to say that Polnareff simply predicted the light beams, which means he actually doesn't scale to it in speed. However, in the instance where he quote-unquote predicted it, not only did he see the beam move in slow motion and he physically had to jump up and react to the beam, but he encounters Hanged Man yet again, and he also reacts to him in a close range setting. Like, why do people like to downplay the shit out of Polnareff? It's just disgusting, man. Let's stop this. You can use the stand card to say Star Platinum moves at light speed, and Polnareff is comparable to him, so there you go. Now for AP, he scales to an early Jotaro, who is above a Nyaiba at this point, who can form a whole town, and if this feat is not convincing enough because it's just Jotaro enduring it from the inside, even though it would have to pierce his actual skin, we have Polnareff blocking beams from the sun stand, which was calculated at city level. Now you can argue this feat is actually higher depending on how you want to go with the interpretation of the sun stand. People like to interpret it as he's only lighting up a part of the desert. However, in the data book, it is actually implied that he is not only lighting up the entire desert, he's also lighting it up when it's nighttime. And based off this and Polnareff being able to block this sun stand that is able to emit that type of energy, this is actually around the mountain level range. However, I will say that city level JoJo's is way more consistent, but the mountain level thing is just not wrong at all. And as for other impressive AP feats other than just stabbing Vanilla Ice multiple times, he actually was able to pierce Part 3 Dio, and had he pierced his brain, he would have finished him off. And not to mention, right after, Dio just kind of like pimp smacks him, and Polnareff is injured, mind you, yet he survives this. Out of all the people who fought Dio in the finale, he definitely was the second most impressive, actually harming Dio unlike Kakyoin and Joseph without Hamon. In conclusion, Polnareff is not only consistently MFTL, but he is city level to maybe even mountain level, depending on what you want to argue, and he has a ghost behind him that has a really cool sword. That's it, goodbye.